What is going down, Sourdough Squad? We have a Victory Tuesday today. The San Francisco 49ers dismantle the Arizona Cardinals in Mexico. Oh boy, we got a lot of stuff to look at. The film is pretty. The offensive line was doing work. Trent Williams, the rest of the gang. It was a fun to watch. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to talk about some stuff. But it is a Victory Tuesday. You already know the vibes. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Drop an SDS in the chat. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What's good, gang? Hopefully you guys are doing well. I'm doing well. San Francisco 49ers won, so we should all be doing great. This is great Victory Tuesday so far. Obviously, when we look back at yesterday's game, the 49ers absolutely motorboated those Arizona Cardinals out of Mexico. Again, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a trend now that we could start to string together. But the Arizona Cardinals fired a couple coaches. It was reported today. That would be the second time that the 49ers went and dismantled another team, and shortly after they fired a bunch of coaches. So watch out, New Orleans. New Orleans is next week. Be careful, because if the San Francisco 49ers kick you out the club, they might kick out the coaches too. I don't know. We'll find out. But in all seriousness, apparently about that situation, I guess some of the coaches got into some shenanigans on Saturday, so I had to deal with something that went on. So that's going to be interesting. All I can say is this: that Hard Knocks episode is going to be so good. I can't wait. We all got to watch that Hard Knocks episode. It's going to be fantastic. No news this morning. No roster moves, nothing like that. Some news in division, but other than that, not a whole lot. But we're going to take a look at the offensive tape today. We're going to kind of look at the film, see what we liked, see what we didn't like, see the good things, see the not so good things. But there's a lot more good than there is bad. So definitely looking forward to getting into that and all that good stuff, because the 49ers are balling, man. Trent Williams out here looking like the best player in the NFL. Clearly, this conversation that put a big spotlight on him this week, it must have done something, because this was Trent Williams' best game of the year by far. Not debatable. This was like circa 2021 Trent Williams, best player in the NFL, unquestionable. That good. He abused JJ Watt on multiple occasions. You even got Spencer Burford doing it. Aaron Banks, everyone. Brendel, McGlinchey, Brunskill. Really great job. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers interior offensive line of not only Banks, Brendel, and Burford, but you can include Brunskill into that mix. They haven't given up a single sack all year. I know. We came into this year, even me, I had a lot of questions. It's like, what is that interior offensive line going to look like? And I still think there's room for them to improve. I don't think they're perfect yet. I don't think they are at their peak. I still think they have room to grow and get better. But the fact that this group hasn't given up a sack in 2022 is insane. We have 5 offensive linemen that have not given up a sack: Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford, and my Daniel Brunskill. Unfortunately, Mike McGlinchey has the sacks for the 49ers offensive line, but no sacks or quarterback hurries yesterday for Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey had a pretty clean game, all things considered, so that's a good thing. So when these guys are doing what they need to do, you can see. And I also have to give credit to Jimmy Garoppolo because there's a bit of duality with sacks in the offensive line. It's not just offensive line. Sometimes a quarterback will hold the ball too long and he'll get himself sacked. And that will show up, you know, on an offensive lineman or perceived to be on an offensive lineman or something like that. Jimmy Garoppolo did a really, really good job getting the ball out. There was a couple times. We'll show the examples, but they were bringing overload blitzes. The offensive line was sliding protection to the wrong side. You had a free blitzer, and Jimmy Garoppolo just gets the ball out. So you have to. There's some duality to it. It's not just the O line; it's also Jimmy Garoppolo making his reads and progressions and getting the ball out on time. So very happy with what I saw. But again, one of the biggest takeaways is they can get even better. So I'm definitely looking forward to that maturation process as the year continues because we saw what could happen or what this team could look like with some protection, with some running lanes and things like that. So if they can continue to get this done at a high level, it's going to be a good situation. I don't like this. Hold on one second. So who did you guys have? Oh, thank God, that gave me a heart attack. I thought all the plays that I had logged disappeared. I almost just had a mini heart attack on stream. Almost just had a mini heart attack on stream. I'm like, oh, we're gonna get into the film, and I go through and I log all the plays. I was like, I thought my document disappeared on me. I was like, oh God. It didn't. Woo! It didn't. That was a close one. But we'll get into this tape here in a second. I did a poll on YouTube of who the offensive player was for the San Francisco 49ers last night. Overwhelmingly, Jimmy Garoppolo. 59% of the votes. There's 13,000 votes so far. 59% went to Jimmy Garoppolo. Second place was George Kittle with 16%. Third place was Brandon Aiyuk with 11%. Shout out to the voters. They gave offensive line 10%. I like that. 10% of the people said the offensive line deserved the player of the game for the offense. Deebo Samuel got 4%. So I have to agree with that. I think Jimmy Garoppolo played hell of a game. And as you see, we got a new nickname for Jimbo. We got a new nickname. I like it. We got Himmy Garoppolo. Guwap. Let's see. But this is the stats and the way the offense broke out. Again, Jimmy Garoppolo, 4 passing touchdowns, 131.9 passer rating. George Kittle, 84 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel, 94 total yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Brandon Aiyuk, 20 reception yards, 2 touchdowns. And Christian McCaffrey, 7 receptions, 106 total yards. So the boys were cooking. Trent Williams right now is not only was the highest graded player on the field for yesterday's game, but he is now currently the highest graded offensive lineman in the entire NFL per PFF. So all that good stuff. It's been a good time. It's been so much of a good time that we got Ghetto Garoppolo back. We haven't seen Ghetto Garoppolo in a while, but we brought him back. He's out here cooking the birds. So it was time. It's time for a reintroduction of the OG Ghetto Garoppolo. Good to have him back. For sure, for sure. But let's get into some of the tape, huh? And if you haven't, you already know, smash that like button and let's see what they did so well. So, we're going to start with the touchdowns and then we'll drill down after that. But let's go touchdowns first. So, let me get myself all situated here. Get the screen all big. Get my notes down here. Any particular touchdown that you guys want to start with? I'll give it. I'll pass the torch to the chat. Which touchdown do you want to start with? We have the first touchdown to Brandon Aiyuk, second touchdown to George Kittle, the Deebo end around. We have the other second touchdown to Brandon Aiyuk and the second touchdown to George Kittle. Let's see. I see Deebo run. I see BA. I see Deebo touchdown. Deebo. So far, Deebo is the popular vote. We're going to get to all of them. That's the best part of it. We're going to get to all of them. But so far, Deebo's the popular vote. So, hey, we're democracy here. We listen to the chat. So we're going to get to all of them. Don't you worry. So let's go Deebo first. And this is probably one of the best. Emmanuel Acho, I know you guys know Emmanuel Acho. He called this the best play in the NFL. And I tend to agree with him because this play specifically is like everything that we've all conceptualized about Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Trent, CMC, Brandon Aiyuk, all being on the field at the same time. What does that look like? How do they use that and stuff like that? So I really like that play, and it's a good place to start. So let me get it queued up. Here we go. Believe this is it. Yep. I'll let you watch all the way through. And then so we'll watch from both angles all the way through. And then we'll go slow-mo through it. We'll go play. We'll kind of break it down piece by piece. Ego says Jimmy Guwap, aka Gucci Garoppolo, aka Himmy G. Hey man. Jimmy earned a lot of respect. This last game. Here, like when you see people, like I obviously have a lot of comment sections, so I see a lot of fans talking about this. When you have people start off their conversation or their comment like, I'm not a fan of Jimmy Garoppolo, but he balled out. That's how you know Jimmy had a really good game when, because there are people out there that are just adamant about not giving Jimmy Garoppolo any love, and they were showing respect. All right, so let's watch. Let's take a look from the sideline angle. Let's see what we get formationally. Let's kind of take it step by step. So we have Elijah Mitchell in the backfield. This play particularly didn't have CMC, but you had two tights. You had Kittle, you had Croft. You started out with Aiyuk and Deebo. It's like this little stacked formation. They bring Aiyuk across the formation. We talked about this. I've talked about this. Jordan Elliott, when he was on with us last week, he talked about that. Just the whole concept of moving the linebackers with motion and how Kyle Shanahan utilized this and all those types of things. So typically, how defenses are keying, they're keying on the guards, because if the guards are pulling, that's a really good indication of where the ball is going to go. So as you see, you're going to get Banks pulling across the formation, and we've seen this from Kyle Shanahan historically, specifically in the last 2 years, where they use tight ends to pull across the formation, almost like it's like a counter tray, but they use a tight end. But so you get the action, right? And just that action, these steps alone, look at how everyone bites. They bite on it. Phenomenal job by Tyler Croft, and we'll get a better angle of this. Of course, Croft, you're going to get Aiyuk getting a piece, Trent, McGlinchey got a piece, and then of course Jake Brendel with probably one of the blocks of the night on Buda Baker, just absolutely pulverizing him into the dirt. Steve Young talked about it earlier this week on KNBR. He said the 49ers were going to put the Cardinals in their grave. That's essentially what Jake Brendel just did to Buda Baker. Literally banished Buda Baker to the shadow realm. Goodbye. Good night. I agree. This was Brendel's best game by far. I got a couple examples of that. This we're going to get a really good view. So this play also perfectly exemplifies why the whole tipping situation with Trent Williams was a non-issue. I tried to explain it on my channel. We did the film breakdown last week. We did all that kind of stuff. And one of the examples that I used was Trent Williams, this particular stance and his run split. So when you see a split like this, for example, look at the opposite side. Offensive linemen are always adjusting their split based on what they want to do. If you don't know what a split is, it's the distance in between which they stand next to each other. So you could see this is a tight split. Trent is very close to Aaron Banks as opposed to the other side where you can see how much spacing, and it's you use that to create spacing with your defensive tackles. So typically defenders are going to key on these splits. They're going to be like, all right, well, look at how tight he is. This is a good indication that Trent Williams is going to block down on the defensive tackle. So that's one of your keys. That's where you're keying on. You're keying on, and you're also keying on this first step, right? So we spent a lot of time talking about Trent tipping plays. What does it mean? All that type of stuff. And one of the things that I said is it doesn't matter if you think it's a run or a pass because there's so much more complexity to these offensive schemes than just run or pass. And Trent Williams said the same exact thing when asked about this conversation. And here's a perfect example of that. They make it look like this is going to be a down block. They make it look like Banks is pulling. They make it look like Croft is pulling. But you're essentially going to get this little it's almost like a screen for Trent. Like he kind of walls off the inside and then he's out in space. Same with Brendel. It's kind of like a similar timing of a screen. A screen you hold for like 1 second, 2 second, and then you're gone. That's what this feels like. It feels like a variation of a screen. It's not a screen, but from the blocking concepts up front for these two, it feels like it has the same rules. And they do a phenomenal job of getting out in space. Again, Brandon Aiyuk with this block does a really good job on Isaiah Simmons, staying on him, giving Deebo Samuel the opportunity to cut off the block. And then, of course, again, Jake Brendel just absolutely finishes it. But again, a big reason why Trent Williams, his stance, what you think it is, really does not matter because they want you. Once Kyle indicates what he thinks you're going to do, he's going to counter off of it. Once he understands and develops what the defense is keying on, he's going to use that and counter off of it. So the whole tipping thing, we don't have to talk about it anymore. But again, this play is just a perfect example why it really does not matter. Beautiful play. Deebo Samuel, again, great blocking. Great blocking, great play design. Look at 51. 51 sees the guard pull. He's like, you see the counter step from the running back. He's like, oh, I'm gone. Look at him. See him engaged with Banks. 34 steps up. They're biting. They're biting tough on this. Not prepared at all. This was definitely the best design play of the game, maybe of the year. Just absolutely phenomenal. The execution, the look, taking advantage of what defenses were keying on, and biting him in the ass for it. You want them to like in this particular instance right here. You want them to key on run. You want them to key on run to the right. Like you want them to. You want them to make it look like a run right. Beautiful. Great job. Let's do we got so many touchdowns to get through. We got 5 touchdowns. Let's go to Aiyuk. Let's go to the Aiyuk touchdown. This is one of the prettier touchdowns, I think. Let's get to it. Here we go. All right, we'll watch it all the way through. This is the second week in a row Jimmy's done this. Watch Jimmy. Watch his eyes. Watch the helmet. Scan right, scan left, pump. Dart. Just a really good job. And again, let's isolate Brandon Aiyuk. Just phenomenal route running. Number 33 had a rough day in the office. Wouldn't be surprised if they just cut him or left him in Mexico. If I was the coach, I'd have been like, 33, give us your helmet. You can stay here in Mexico. We're not bringing you back with us because 33 was a joke and just got cooked. Beautiful rip route. You can see the explosion that Brandon Aiyuk is able to create and the separation as a result. And again, Brandon Aiyuk isn't the first read here. That's why this is a really good play. And of course, look at the protection up front. Look at the protection. You're going to have 4 on 5. Jimmy has all day to throw. All day. You're going to get Trent one-on-one. You're going to get Banks one-on-one. You're going to get Brendel one-on-one. And then you're going to get McGlinchey with Burford for help. Beautiful. All the time in the world. Allows Jimmy Garoppolo to scan from right to left. So this is at least his third read. First pump, he wants to let it rip. Nah, it's not there. Second read, wants to let it rip. Nah, it's not there. All right, we're going right behind Deebo to Aiyuk. That's money. Let's try to see what the progression looks like. So I imagine he's either going Kittle. I don't know if it's a 1-2 or just like a 1 situation. I imagine he's looking Kittle to CMC. None are really open. Comes back. Deebo is not open and goes right behind Deebo to Brandon Aiyuk. Again, I don't know the progressions. That's my guess. But phenomenal job all the way around. And again, for Brandon Aiyuk to, put that type of effort into being like, let's say Brandon Ayuk's the 4th read. Let's just say he's the 4th read on this. It's very unlikely that Jimmy Garoppolo like gets through his third or fourth read. And the timing of it's beautiful. The relationship to how it worked. I mean, he could have been a primary backside read because I don't know what Deebo's doing. Deebo's not really selling this a whole lot. So again, I don't know the function of the design or where it's really designed to go, but it could be built that way. Really nice job here. So that's Aiyuk's first touchdown. Cooking dudes out here. Watch it one more time from this angle. All right. So there's the Aiyuk touchdown. We'll go to the Kittle touchdown next. This was also just a great individual effort by Jimmy Garoppolo. So we'll watch it all the way through. Watch Jimmy step up, flatten, little touch pass, step up, flatten, pop pass. Kittle does the rest. I mean, it's just a pretty damn good effort here. And again, another thing, how often do we see Jimmy Garoppolo make plays like this? We've all watched Jimmy Garoppolo since 2017. We've questioned his kind of pocket mobility, his pocket awareness, what he does when he feels things collapsing on him. He just feels under control. Even the little fade shot, little flip. Not bad. You could make the argument, you know, you could maybe put the ball on his upfield shoulder, and if it hits him on the upfield shoulder, he's running up the seam. But this works as well because the fact that Kittle actually has to kind of come back for the ball makes this miss occur from the safety. It allows him to readjust and change the angle in which he was running, which completely screws up the safety and allows Kittle to make a phenomenal adjustment, scores a touchdown. Gammon says some fans, not all, think Jim Harbaugh would be an upgrade at head coach over Kyle Shanahan. Why do you think that is? Do you agree at some level? Why or why not? I think I think Jim Harbaugh and Kyle Shanahan are very different coaches in regards to what makes them successful. I think Jim Harbaugh's a big like when you're getting ready to do Madden, or like you're trying to you're about to create a franchise and they're like, "Do you want a motivational head coach? Do you want a strategic head coach?" I kind of look at Jim Harbaugh in the motivational sense. Like he's one of those guys that's going to get everyone pumped up. He has an ability with people and like can really bring people together, like, the who's got it better than us, like all that type of stuff. Like Jim Harbaugh was just like the ultimate, just, that type of leader. Whereas Kyle, he's a he's a strategist. Like I don't necessarily look at him in that same light. So they just have different strengths and weaknesses. I don't look at Jim Harbaugh as like a great football mind in the senses of X's and O's like I would Kyle Shanahan. So I would say Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo, Jim Harbaugh would be like the perfect coach. If you could combine Harbaugh's personality with Kyle's schematics, like scheme, I think that would be the perfect coach. But they all have their own abilities. But that's a good question. Let's see. Let's look at the offensive line. Mike McGlinchey. Oh no, don't look. Mike McGlinchey getting a block. You've got Brunskill versus JJ Watt. Jake Brendel is sliding protection to that side. So that's going to leave Banks and Trent one on one, but the defensive tackle drops out. So it's a 3-man rush, which really opens up the middle for Jimmy Garoppolo to step up, make that play, and find Kittle. What does the read progression potentially look like? You got CMC running like a little whip. Aiyuk's running kind of like a deep out. They're absolutely all over Kittle. I don't know if this was designed to be to Kittle over the middle, but you can see they got 4 guys in that zone. And again, really good job. You're going to see the ad lib here of Kittle reading it like that and getting behind it and getting vertical. This is just a good play by both. Good play by both because they're absolutely committed to taking away. It's 3rd and short. So this is how I imagine the defense is looking at this. It's 3rd and short. They got about 4 yards to gain for a first down. They know Jimmy Garoppolo loves to go over the middle. You know, who's going to be the kind of the primaries there? Probably CMC. If you banked it on CMC, you're probably going to first down. But primary is probably Kittle, and he's running into a clouded zone, but that ad lib ability to see it and like I'm getting vertical. If the safety is down in the box like this and jumps the route, I'm going vertical. And that's just a great job by both players being on the same page. I would say that's out of structure. I don't think that's how it's designed to be. And that's just 2 players playing ball. That's just like that's that old like adage, you know, kids just in the backyard throwing the ball around. Like, oh, they're going to be over there. Well, I'm going to go over here. Hit me. Got you. Touchdown. Like it. So we're 3 touchdowns in. Let's go to the next one, which was a Brandon Aiyuk touchdown. Was it this? I don't think that's it. Oh, it's because I'm a minute too early. Here we go. Shout out Brandon Aiyuk. 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Talk about making an impact. All right, let's see. Is Aiyuk primary? I mean, it looks like it. There's no safety help. So let's see who's they put. You've got Aiyuk kind of out there on an island. They motion across Jawan. The safety follows. So they're showing some kind of blitz, right? They're showing some kind of blitz. You've got 2 down. You've got 2 defensive ends standing up. You've got one guy over the center, and you've got two creeping. Who are they going to bring? So they bring all three. That means you've got man coverage with a huge cushion to that side of the field. And that's just pitch and catch, man. That's where that Jimmy G release, that quick whip it, comes in handy. If you're going to play 10 yards off in man on a blitz and the quarterback is able to pick it up and just read it, and it's like, all right, we got a we got a simple slant, easy, make a miss, touchdown. It's a great pass. I know it doesn't look like much, but great pass. You've got a free rusher off the edge, so he still has to be able to get the ball around him. You can see it affects him by the way he kind of prepares for the hit, so he knows it's coming. That's where that quick whip comes in handy. Yeah, this was also the play where we had some friendly fire. Brandon Aiyuk absolutely nailed our own cameraman right in the nutsack with the ball. I knew he hit someone when he threw it, and you saw his reaction. You can kind of see him like, "Oh, my bad." He absolutely just nailed our own cameraman right in the nuts. That was a nut shot right there. Dink. And the best part, it was one of our own cameraman. There could have been a million cameramen in that end zone. He hit one of our guys. Boink. Hey, you got to stay on your toes, right? You're on the sideline. You're basically in the game, man. You got to be ready for anything, even when your own dudes trying to take out your sack, basically. But again, this was just shout out Jimmy, not being phased by the blitz. You've got a little stun action going. Let's see what they're showing up front. So they bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5. They drop what, I don't know what that guy's doing. If he's kind of mirroring CMC, but you get a nice stunt here. Look at Aaron Banks. So with this type of pressure, I'm honestly, so shout out the Cardinals. The Cardinals caught the 49ers sliding protection to the wrong side, and they're able to kind of take advantage, because what the Cardinals are trying to do is, you got a 3-on-2 right here. 56, 44, 95 versus Banks and Williams, and then you got 2-on-3 on the other side. So they're trying to determine where their sliding protection is basically where Brendel's going. You can see Brendel's going to his right. So they're able to draw up a good blitz here to get 3-on-2, but you also have to shout out Banks getting off, getting a piece. You can see 95, look at 95 getting a piece of Banks. He doesn't want Banks to come off because Banks is trying to get off 95 to pick up the looper. And with this type of situation, got to go inside. I know it's tempting for Trent Williams to go out and pick up 56, but this is the hot. This is the guy that this is a quarterback's man. Quarterback has to read this blitzer. It's up to Banks and Trent Williams to take care of the inside. So they did a good job here. They picked it up just as they should. And also with Jimmy Garoppolo, we talked about the relationship that Jimmy plays in this. Jimmy had to read the hot. He had to read where the blitzer was and where he wanted to go with it if they did come. And he found the guy. And that was Aiyuk for a touchdown. So it was pretty damn good, man. And then we also got the Kittle touchdown not too long after. And we'll get into some O-line clips. We'll get through the touchdowns. It's our last touchdown of the day, and then we'll get into some of the finer details. But I don't know what this is called. It's like Y leak. I don't know if this is Y leak. In my mind, I want to call it Y leak. Basically, get the tight end leaking out the backside. Where are we going? So Kittle's going to start across the formation, right? Like, oh, look at Trent. He's got that front foot loaded. He's kind of got a flatter stance. Oh, it's run right, run right. Key on Trent, right? Key on Trent. Oh, they're pulling Kittle. Key on Trent. Wait a second. Uh-oh. And then again, we talked about it earlier. 33 right here. This guy, I'm taking his passport and I'm leaving him in Mexico. If this was my player, this guy right here, I'm taking his passport. You are not. You got to charter your own flight home, buddy. You want to come back to the States? It's not with the team. I can tell you that much. This guy, I mean, shout out Aiyuk with the little box out, but the effort here is garbage. Get used to Mexico, my friend, because you are not coming back home with us. Cut you on site. Like, that's just, you can't have that, man. Of course, phenomenal effort by Kittle making this guy miss, but no one wanted a piece of Kittle, man. Kittle's like, wait, I didn't get hit? Easy. Big spike. Big spike. You get another angle of 33, just like, nah, eh. And look at him after, like, oh man. Look at the body language. Like, oh man. Yeah, you know that's gonna look bad on tape. So bad. Great job by Kittle. Look at that, man. Nope. Tightrope. Great block by Croft, by the way. Let's see how far Croft has to go to make this block. Look at Croft. Watch Croft. Eyes upfield. Find someone to block. Engages at the 10. Drive. That's why you don't give up on plays, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give a ton of credit to Kittle, of course, but Aiyuk, Croft right here. Hey, Aiyuk, that box out worked just enough, regardless of number 33's piss poor effort. Look at 81 though. That's effort. Look at the distinct difference in effort between 33 and 81. Beautiful. Good job, Tyler Croft. We're giving a lot of credit. We're giving a lot of credit to play design here. This is play design, right? Taking advantage of what defenses are keying on, countering opposite. They're so used to George Kittle coming across the formation and taking out the defensive ends that they didn't even bother thinking that this could be a pass or play action. It's like a naked boot. Turns around, flips it. Kittle makes one guy miss, blocking down the field. Beautiful. Remember, we talked about it with that that one play as well. Remember, what did we talk about? Tight split. Look at that split. Look at that split. See how tight this is? See this? If you are a defense and you are looking at Trent Williams and you're like, okay, this isn't going to be a pass. Look at his stance. Very flat. He's not up on his toe. He's not doing that wiggle thing he does with his toe. He's got a big forward lean. This looks like run right, run right. You're even going to get I formation. You're going to get juice in motion. All right. Look at the footwork, offensive line. Run right, run right. Oh, no, it's not a run. So this is the exact point that I was making of why Trent's stance does not matter. And in fact, not only does it not matter in the sense of it being an issue, but they use it to their advantage. Beautiful. Good stuff. Touchdown. We like that. Someone said they wanted to see Burford. I got some Burford for you. Now, if I had to give you an honest assessment of Burford, there's a reason why Burford and Brunskill are rotating. Burford he's still hit or miss sometimes on his technique, and sometimes you could find him out of position, but this is an example of a really good rep by Burford. You're going to get him one-on-one essentially with JJ Watt. JJ Watt goes for like a pure bull rush here. Like, look at the angle of Watt's back. Gets him low. Low man wins, right? Burford grabs the top of the shoulder pads, kicks his butt out, and just drops Watt, just pulls the chair out. This is like this is how Trent Williams is in the room. Just taking advantage of the leverage that these defensive tackles are trying to put up against you and just using it against them. Dropping JJ Watt's still a good player. He might not be MVP caliber JJ Watt like he used to be, but he's still a very serviceable defensive tackle in this league. And this is just a really good job by Burford to kind of take what was given to him and make an adjustment and get Watt on his face. This is a tough one. Again, we talked about how the Cardinals were getting these 2-on-3 matchups. So I don't know what the rules are for this particular concept. In that last one that we watched, Trent came down on the defensive tackle and they left the outside rusher free. So I don't know if that was an adjustment to, let's say, this. But when we talk about, Jimmy Garoppolo not in this offensive line not giving up sacks, like Jimmy didn't get sacked here because of Jimmy. This was a really good individual effort from Jimmy to be able to understand that he had a free rusher coming right at him and to be able to get the ball out and complete a pass here to George Kittle for a first down. So this is a really good individual effort by Jimmy Garoppolo. So again, I don't know exactly what the rules are, but Banks, I believe, is doing the correct thing. The quickest way to the quarterback is all through interior pressure. So you got to get the most interior defender. I don't know if they want that like this, where 94 is free, but Jimmy does a good job of taking care of business. This particular play, I was very impressed with Brendel. We watched Brendel in the big play that everyone noticed and saw, and it was a really good play by Brendel. But this little quarterback sneak, I think this is it. The quarterback sneak. This is, you're running off Brendel's rear, literally, and watch Brendel kind of like fold Watt onto his knee. Then you got Burford coming behind him, but look at the initial contact. The initial contact is Brendel. Brendel wins that rep right here. And then, of course, all the momentum that follows behind him to be able to just dig JJ Watt out easy, first down. I like that. It's pretty damn good. I know it's just a little quarterback sneak, but it's pretty nice. Uh, Trent Williams, again, we talked about it, just had a phenomenal day, especially when it came to uh, getting these defenders on the ground. So Trent Williams versus JJ Watt, you're going to see how easy it is for him. Uh-oh. Spinning wheel of death. But you could see how easy it is for Trent to get him on the ground. It's fantastic. So, like, you can see here too, like, you're gonna get a hold on Burford, and you can see he kinda lunges at the defensive tackle. Defensive tackle's able to gain leverage, and then Burford's just holding on for, dear life to make sure his guy doesn't get sacked or get hit or anything. But there's still things that Burford can clean up. He's been playing really well, but I get why they're rotating him. Um, it's working for them with this Brunskill Burford thing, but like I can understand why they're doing it. But once Burford is able to clean up this type of stuff, he's going to be really good. He's definitely going to be really good. Um, let's see. Trent Williams, I think 242. Oh, next one. All right, so watch Trent Williams here. You're gonna get that backside, like it's like a club snatch move. It's just so easy for like Trent. I would say he probably got defensive lineman on the ground like this. If I had to go back and count, I would say up close to 10 times that he got guys on the ground like this. In regards to JJ Watt, he probably got JJ Watt specifically on the ground like this like 5 times. But Trent Williams was in his bag last night. Really, really in his bag. This one I really liked from Brendel. Brendel does a really good job of getting to second level and just owning the linebacker. Just that, like, typically when I watch Brendel, I don't see a guy who's able to really bully guys too much. He's just he typically tries to like leverage block, but he's able to get that hand on the outside shoulder, swing those hips around, and just nope, you're not going anywhere. That was a really good job. It's a good kind of crackback block by Brandon Aiyuk. You're going to get a good block by Juice. And then, of course, Trent Williams is able to get on Buddha, gets enough of Buddha to get him on the ground. And then Elijah Mitchell does a really good job of finding the lane and getting open and busting for a nice gain. But again, also kind of on the backside, you're going to be able to get Brunskill to the second level on Zaven Collins. It's a good job backside. Good job from Mike backside. You can see they get the guys on the ground over here. You get a nice little face plant. Boop. Buddha had a rough game. This was one little cool element that I really liked. We've talked about this a bunch in the past, like how Kyle is going to utilize CMC and Deebo on the back in the backfield at the same time, or on the field at the same time. This is the one. So, they didn't show the pre-snap on this one. So you're going to see CMC starts off in the backfield. Then CMC shifts into the slot, and then they shift Deebo into the backfield. Kyle's going to be able to do so many different types of creative things. And then they're able to hit CMC. Jimmy Garoppolo delivers a dart right on the money to Christian McCaffrey. But again, it's a lot of good stuff. A lot of fun. We're just seeing the start of it. I really believe. I still think there's a lot of stuff that the Kyle Shanahan's going to be cooking up with how he utilizes all these different types of weapons on the field at one time. Let's see. Crisp, clean stunt here. You're going to get the pass off from Aaron Banks to Trent Williams. Really good. You're going to see, oh, look, it's tipped. Pass. Doesn't matter. Really good job by these two to pass off this stunt. You're going to get Golden looping around. Both react to it perfectly. Trent is in the perfect spot to take over the block. Banks picks it up. Really nice. Jimmy gets that ball up, maybe just a little bit. Still a tough catch. 20 has got his hand in there. But good job from those two on the left side of the offensive line. We're also going to get CMC little screen action. I really like this kind of work with Burford and Brendel. You can see, or I'm sorry, Brunskill and Brendel. You're going to see Brunskill take on this guy right here, and then he's going to peel off, and it allows Brendel to take over the block, and so they create kind of a natural wall. I think CMC was expecting Aaron Banks to pick up Buddha, but still, it was kind of a weird spot to be in. It looks like Aaron Banks was keyed on Simmons the whole time. Look at Simmons get yeeted. Simmons did not want any contact. I don't know what's going on with these Cardinals, man. They did not want the smoke. Banks just yeeted them. But they were close. That was close to being a big, big hitter. Let's do this one. Trent pulling. So based on stance, Kind of looks like a pass set. Nope. Trent Williams is out of there. This block, I think, best exemplifies like what Trent Williams is and how much of an elite athlete he is and why he is and should be considered one of the best, if not the best player in the NFL. Um, his ability to get out in space, get boot on the ground, and then able to just get enough of 20, and then CMC does the rest. It's great work. Great work by Deebo to get just enough of 25. Aiyuk to get just enough. It's pretty good, man. So, for the most part, some good stuff. Let's see. This one I had. I really like the way Burford and Burford and Brendel took care of JJ Watt on this particular play. That was nice. You got to shout out Mike McGlinchey. Didn't give up a single quarterback hurry or pressure all night, doing his job. So McGlinchey had a good day in the office. Trent Williams doing Trent Williams types thing. Brendel probably had one of his best games as a 49er, I would say. Banks continued to play well. Burford still had a good game, but he also had his moments. He had a couple plays here or there that, again, it comes down to just technical stuff. If he can clean up the kind of the finer details, he's going to be a really good. He is going to be a really good offensive lineman for a long time. Just learning on the fly. Banks going to do a little belly flop on 93. Love it. So it was nice. They had a lot of good production, but they still left some stuff on the field. So they still have some stuff that they can clean up. They can still get better. But I'm pretty excited about it. I think the 49ers are going to have New Orleans next week, I think, is an extremely winnable game. I'm really not too concerned about, good old Andy Dalton, my fellow Ginger. I don't think Andy Dalton is going to put a ton of fear into what the 49ers are doing. So 49ers should be able to take care of business here. Ultimately, great win. They played really well. I haven't done defense yet, but offense is one of the best offensive performances we've seen of the year. And again, one of my biggest takeaways is they could get better. They can be better. And that's scary. That should legitimately terrify the rest of the NFL. That this team can be better than what they put on tape last week. And that's exciting because this particular game against the Cardinals, I think, is going to kind of be the measuring stick for this offense. We're always going to come back to this game. And so did they do better than the Cardinals game? Did they play worse than the Cardinals game? I think this is going to be definitely something that we reference quite a bit. But I think there's room for improvement. I think they could do even better in the run game and things like that. Once this run game gets cooking, like cooking, they're still having some troubles with kind of the interior gap scheme stuff. They're able to get big chunk plays with their outside, kind of pitches and end arounds and things like that. But once that interior type gap scheme runs start popping, they're going to be extremely difficult to defend. What's good, Donnie B? Donnie B in the chat. So good stuff, man. That was a good win. Needed it. Vibes were electric. I want the 49ers to play Mexico again. Can we get something set up where the 49ers play in Mexico every single year? I had immense FOMO. I'm not gonna lie. That would have been a fun game to be at. I know there's a lot of other people, like content creators and people that we know that were out there. They look like they had a blast. Looks like it was a great atmosphere, extremely well received. I love that everyone in Mexico is 49er fans. I think that's one of the coolest things. It's not like going to UK where it's like everyone in the stands just has different jerseys. Everyone was a 49er fan, it felt like. So it felt like a big time home game. It felt kind of like a mini Super Bowl. It's like what it like the atmosphere felt like. It wasn't quite the Super Bowl, but it was like if it was like an NFC championship game or something like that. Like it just you could feel the energy through the TV, like you could sense how loud it was. You could sense how excited the fans were there, like and the 49ers definitely fed off of it. So absolutely a cool experience out there in Mexico. 49ers players got home early this morning. I saw them posting around like 6 o'clock in the morning, like in their cars, like, oh, we're back. So 49ers are back in the Bay. I imagine they get today off, and then they're back to work on Wednesday, and they turn the page to the Saints. It's going to be an interesting week, though, right? We got Thanksgiving coming up. Is Thanksgiving in like 2 days? Yeah, like Thanksgiving in 2 days. I don't know. Do we do a Thanksgiving draft? Draft like the best sides. But it's coming up. And I don't think that the Saints is necessarily going to be a trap game. I think the Saints have weapons, right? Oh, we already stuffed the bird. That's right. We already did. We got the bird, bagged him up. Gotta cook that sucker. So if doesn't it feel like the Cards are in a really bad spot organizationally? Like, doesn't feel like they believe in Kyler Murray. You heard rumors that Kyler Murray potentially could have played this game, but they kind of wanted to go with Colt McCoy to see if Colt McCoy could be that guy. I don't know. Cards feel like they're crumbling. Aponte came on the IG live. He said it perfectly. Put a fork in the Cards and the Rams. They're done. I mean, to be into week 11, week 12, and to say that the Rams and the Cardinals look like they are cooked, and that week 15 game against Seattle, which we're going to talk about a lot, is going to be a big time game, another primetime game. I wish that the 49ers would be able to somehow get this Dolphins game flexed I think that would be ideal. I think it's Cowboys Colts Sunday Night Football. That feels like a snoozer. That feels like a snooze fest, especially with what the Cowboys did to the Minnesota Vikings last week. It feels like the Cowboys are going to dog walk the Colts. So let's bump, let's take the 49ers and the Miami Dolphins. Let's shift those up into let's change that. Yeah, I'm seeing the story about Charvarius Ward calling DeAndre Hopkins stereo. Jeez, I can't talk. Steroid boy. So apparently 49ers cornerback Charvarius Ward called DeAndre Hopkins steroid boy. 49ers want all the smoke, man. Steroid boy. Oh my gosh. What a quote. That's funny. So, what do we got tomorrow? Tomorrow we got State of the Franchise, Jason Aponte. That's going to be lit. Definitely looking forward to that. So we'll have State of the Franchise tomorrow. I'm going to try to get Jordan Elliott back on Thursday. So try to get Jordan in here every Thursday. So we'll have Aponte every Wednesday. I'm going to try to get Jordan in here every Thursday. Get our guys on here on a regular basis. So looking forward to that. Yeah. So good stuff today. Appreciate everyone tapping in. I got this little bug. I'm trying to get over it, man. I know you hear me coughing. I'm trying to get over it, but I'll be over it soon. But appreciate you guys, as always, tapping in. Smash the like button if you haven't. All that good stuff. Like, subscribe. You know the vibes. But appreciate you all. We got that good Victory Tuesday vibes. Get your cookies if you were here from start to finish. You already know. SDS is the best, per usual, and is still undefeated. But again, I appreciate you guys. I'm out of here. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.